Hi, I'm Dani.
And I'm Si. Welcome to Business in the Brew, a podcast dedicated to all things business with the occasional cuppa.
We take a business story, theory, or something we just want to chat about and give it a dusting of our own special personality and sense of humour, combined with our experience and knowledge. We're both business graduates and have run our own businesses for many years. We can't wait for you to listen. Hello.
You didn't do 3, 2, 1.
You did.
Oh,
You weren't
I missed it. Right. Okay. Today's subject. You know, I like a bit of French. Yeah.
I do.
You know. You know, I love a pastry. Yeah.
Yes. French pastry, perfect.
Calm down. Right. Saturday morning, wander around town. You're on the high street. You walk past a Patisserie Valerie.
I used to like
look
Patisserie
in the
Valerie.
window. Yeah. And what do you see?
You see a strawberry tart because I absolutely love a tart framboise. No, fraises, strawberry, framboises,
Yeah.
raspberry. But anyway.
Framboise is
No, fraises, strawberry, framboises, raspberry.
correct.
20-minute podcast, I was arguing over the French for strawberry. Anyway, that's what I'm saying because I really enjoy the custard thingy in there.
Oh, custard slices. Yes. Okay. Yeah. They used to. Well, it felt like they were everywhere. Windows full of gorgeous cakes, and that it was enough to draw you in.
Those little, like the pretty papery things they had, the little brown and gold ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love a good pastry.
Yeah.
Don't love the French quite the same way you do, but I love a good pastry.
So coffee as well, lovely. Coffee and pastry is lovely. Anyway, it looks like a thriving, profitable, beautifully run British business, but with a French twist. Yeah.
Because we all love a little bit of
French twist.
the foreign. Yeah.
What you don't know,
Okay.
what nobody knows, is that somewhere in the back office, the accounts are a complete and total work of fiction. There's a £40 million black hole in the finances, and the whole thing's about to come spectacularly apart.
That's not a small hole. That's not someone put £5 on a credit card.
Nope. No one had any idea, and that's the whole point here.
I honestly thought their marketplace had just dried up.
Yeah, I say nobody apart from a coterie.
What?
Coterie, great word. A lovely French word for a small, exclusive group of people with shared interests, tastes, or backgrounds, often forming a close-knit, clique-like circle.
Coterie.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen it written down, never said it out loud before.
Yes. So that's what coterie. That's what makes it one of the most extraordinary corporate frauds in recent British history, because that's what it was. And I'll take you through it.
Okay.
It started in 1926. Oh my God, 100 years ago. There you go.
Congratulations, your maths was amazing.
A single patisserie in Old Compton Street, Soho, run by a Belgian woman called Madame Valerie.
Oh, so it did start with actual, real European roots?
Yeah. Became a Soho institution. And by the early 2000s, it had grown a bit, but it was still small, maybe only 8 shops.
Okay.
Yeah, mainly London. Then in 2006, it was bought by Luke Johnson.
Do we know him?
Well, actually, he was then and is still a serial entrepreneur.
Oh.
He's the man who turned Pizza Express from a small chain into a national institution, taking its share price from 40p to over 900p. He was also involved in Revolution Bars, Belgo, chairman of Channel 4, the Royal Society of Arts, Majestic Bingo.
Wow,
and
that man doesn't sleep.
Zogs Swimwear. And a whole load of
portfolio.
other stuff. Yeah, it is. He's an entrepreneurial genius. Really, I mean, you can't really.
You say in the middle of a story where something's failed by £40 million.
Yeah. But you remember me? I mentioned coterie.
You did mention the coterie.
Okay, so he was hugely respected in the restaurant and retail world. And actually, I think he still is. He's sharp, experienced, well connected, and he spotted Patisserie Valerie as an underexploited brand with real heritage. High margin products, a unique offering, nothing else quite like it on the high street. So he bought it, backed it, grew it fast, and by the mid-2010s, there were 140 branches across the country. I think that is around, it might be just under or just over. I had a loyal following and successful stock market float in 2014. Shares went out at 170p and nearly doubled. Investors were happy. Everything looked rosy.
Well, yes.
Yeah. And
Though
then
I will say that's a very aggressive growth. Very aggressive.
But at that time, there were lots of available units in towns and, just being able to pop the formula into each one of those places. I mean, yes, it's aggressive. It would have cost an awful lot of money to do that because every one of them had to be set up just so.
Yeah.
And complete supply chain to back it up. But he was used to that. He knew what he was doing in that regard. Yeah. And then 10th of October 2018, that's the date everything changed. The company's bankers, HSBC, were in the process of routine checks when they discovered something deeply alarming. The company appeared to have a winding up petition against it. That's not a small company, not a struggling company. Patisserie Valerie with 140 shops, paying dividends, consistently reporting profits. A winding up petition?
Right, let me just be clear. A winding up petition is where someone else says, you're not paying me my money, therefore I need you to close your business so you can pay me money.
Yeah. When auditors went in to look, they found a £40 million hole in the accounts. The finance director, a man called Chris Marsh, was suspended and arrested. And the Serious Fraud Office opened a criminal investigation. That's an utter shock, really.
It'd be an utter shock if Chris Marsh was the only person that knew.
Oh, yes, quite. So how does that even happen?
I don't know. I mean, I've oops,
how do you
I
hide
accidentally spent £1,000 on my credit
Yeah.
card, but not 40 million.
Yes. How do you hide that much money? Sorry, how do you hide not that much money?
How do you hide the absence of the money?
Yes, exactly. It is extraordinary as a concept. It appears the fraud involved the manipulation of bank accounts, inflating cash balances that simply didn't exist, creating false accounting entries, maintaining the illusion of a healthy, profitable business, when in reality it was teetering on the edge of insolvency. And crucially, this has been going on since at least 2015, so it was only a year after it kind of went ballistic.
Yeah.
Which means it was running before, during, and after the company's stock market float. So people were buying shares in a company whose accounts were fiction, effectively.
That's so bad.
Or so I'm reading into it. And the auditors didn't catch it. Okay. Which is kind of a little bit bonkers.
Well, they're given too many pastries and they went into a pastry coma and they couldn't audit properly. That's how I deal with it.
Paid in pastries. The auditors were Grant Thornton, one of the UK's top 6 accounting firms. Luke Johnson had specifically chosen a prestigious firm because it would give confidence to investors, which is absolutely right.
Well, yeah, that's the way that's exactly the way you do it.
They signed off the accounts every year. They raised no material concerns. For at least 3 years, possibly longer, they failed to detect £40 million fraud hiding in plain sight in the company's bank accounts.
That's like someone went, just sign this. And they went, yeah, all right, without even looking at it.
Grant Thornton was subsequently investigated by the Financial Reporting Council. Luke Johnson himself later described it as astonishing that such an eminent firm could have pulled the wool so comprehensively over its eyes. And he tried heroically to save it, but he'd been betrayed. He raised 15 million from shareholders in a matter of days, lent the business 10 million of his own money, interest-free, put in another 3 million to keep the staff paid while the business was being transferred. He lost an estimated 2/3 of his wealth. I don't know how accurate that is, trying to save it, but the problems and the betrayal were too deep. In 2019, Patisserie Holdings crashed into administration, 70 shops closed, staff lost jobs, investors who'd seen the share price suspended since October were wiped out. A business that had appeared healthy and growing simply ceased to exist quite suddenly with no warning that anyone outside the finance department had been given.
So to be clear, none of this was Luke's fault.
No, absolutely not. No.
All of the detail was hidden from him.
Well, that's what I understand. The last sentence just there, with no warning that anyone outside the finance department had been given.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, is this your coterie? A coterie of finance people?
Yes. Chris Marsh, the finance director, was arrested and charged with fraud. I think that was 2023. So it's quite a way after.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of stuff you have to go through to work out who's to blame here.
Yeah. Arrested and charged with fraud and false accounting. He wasn't alone. There were 3 co-defendants also facing charges. His wife, who is an accountant, Louise, financial controller, Pratesh Mystery, and financial consultant, Nilesh Kumar lad. And 4 people in total, all facing the music for what went on inside that back office. Well,
I would have got another job.
What were the motivations? Yeah. And here's where the story takes on another frustrating dimension entirely. The case has wound its way through the legal system at such a pace that would make a glacier look impatient.
That's some hyperbole right there.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that one. The trial was scheduled and delayed until last month, so March 26, rescheduled again, delayed again, and as we record this right now, it's currently listed for January 2028.
2028?
Yes. So
that's quite the delay.
Nearly a decade after the company collapsed.
That's really bad.
Nearly a decade after thousands of people lost their jobs and investors were wiped out overnight. Yeah.
So what are those people in a holding cell until the trial, or does it not work like that?
Well,
it's not that kind of crime.
I don't know. I mean, when someone's charged, it doesn't mean to say that they're guilty.
No, they could be bailed, I suppose.
Exactly. So they're probably having, lives.
They're probably out having a pastry on a Saturday morning, but not in Patisserie Valerie.
Yeah. So, 10 years on, 4 people waiting for trial. It raises the question that sits alongside the original fraud, which is if the justice system takes the best part of a decade to bring a case like this to trial, what does it say about accountability in British corporate life? When the original company collapsed, thousands lost their jobs, investors took their losses, and yet somehow, remarkably, Patisserie Valerie itself lives on.
Does it?
Yes, it does. Which I was so pleased to hear that, because I hadn't realised that. The brand was acquired out of administration, and branches are still trading today. And according to the website, you put in a search for how many Patisserie Valerie branches are, and they range from literally 6 to 12 or something. But I've been on the website, and there's 8 branches. 7 scattered across England and 1 in Scotland. So you can still walk past the window full of pastries.
You just might have to go a little bit further to get there.
Yeah, still smell the coffee. And still stuff yourself on deliciousness.
We should do a road trip podcast where we go around sampling 8 Patisserie Valeries around the country.
I like that.
Thank you.
Dawn?
Yeah.
So the 4 people connected to the fraud. So it's still going, but there's a little kind of, it's maybe slightly ironic. The 4 people connected to the fraud that destroyed the original business await their day in court. Slightly poetic.
Poetic.
So it's kind of come out the other side. All right, it's under different owners and whatnot, but it still exists.
So the brand still exists, which I quite like, and I feel better for the nice Belgian lady at the beginning who set it up in the first place. What I don't get is why the 40 million. Why they weren't embezzling it? This isn't embezzlement, is it?
Well, that's the whole thing. Apparently, there are 3 million documents associated with this case.
But they're not like living on a yacht or something.
There's some serious stuff going to have to go on here for the court case.
Because I get it if you make a mistake, right, and then you're like, oh, God, I've made a mistake. I'm going to have to just cover that up slightly, and then you bring your colleagues in. But this is not one mistake. This is consistent fraudulent activity.
Well, for a fairly short space of time, though. I remember it was between 2014 and 2018. That's
like £10 million a year.
Yeah, but
if you split it equally,
I don't think anyone knows when the whole appeared and how it appeared, and what were the motivations. So it could have been.
We'll need to come back in 2028.
People saving their own jobs.
And ask AI to read all the documents for us, because I'm not reading all of them.
Yeah.
And AI by that point will be sentient, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. But final word.
Yeah, I'm ready.
The cakes have outlasted the scandal.
And the coffee. Yeah. The cakes.
It's all about the cakes, not the coffee.
I really want a cake now.
Yeah. I would love to see the one in Nottingham open again, because I love going there.
That's obviously not one of the locations.
No, it's not, sadly. Yeah.
I'll make you a croissant. I'll get you one.
I think the nearest one's York.
Oh, I like York.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Patisserie Valerie and have a cake in York. All right.
Good old Patisserie Valerie.
You can drive.
Surviving and coming out the other side.
Okay. Yay for the cakes.
All right, folks, that's it for this episode.
Thank you.
Thanks for supporting us by downloading and listening to this episode.
And a massive thank you also to Dani, Emily, Nat and Lewis and the BTD Studios for all your expertise in bringing our podcasting dream to reality.
We'd love it if you commented on this episode, as we'd really like to know what you think and what you might like us to cover in future episodes.
And we'll see you on the next one.